Trump takes aim at the rest of the GOP field, but last night he set his sights on foreign policy. The Donald giving a fiery speech aboard the USS Iowa.
We're going to come out with some plans in a very short time. We're going to be building up our military. We're going to make our military so big and so strong and so great. And it will be so powerful that I don't think we're ever going to have to use it. Nobody's going to mess with us. That I can tell you. And we're going to have a president who's respected by Putin, who's respected by Iran. I've been saying Hillary Clinton is the worst Secretary of State in the history of this country, right? It's possible that because of this deal made by Secretary Kerry, who has absolutely no clue how to negotiate, it may be that he's going to supersede.
So how does Donald Trump's foreign policy size up? Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton, goes on the record. Ambassador, first of all, what is Donald Trump's foreign policy? How do you describe it?
Well, I think he wears it on his baseball cap. It says, "Make America Great Again." What else do you need to know?
Well, I guess I'd like to know a little bit more. I mean, you know, a little bit more. Is there more to it?
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out in part tonight. But, you know, my observation about Trump is that the class of Americans who hate him more than anyone else are political commentators. Because this man has the effrontery not to conform to their preconceptions. What's going on here? And I think it applies to Carson, and I think it applies to Fiorina as well, is that we're having a different kind of primary campaign. And people keep trying to fit it into boxes that so far at least don't apply to it.
Well, if he's certainly leading all the polls, so certainly the American people, the one who are answering the phone on these polls, the commentators may be largely out of step with what they're saying. But let me turn now to the whole stage tonight. On stage tonight at the debate that starts soon, who is the strongest on foreign policy?
Well, I think there are a number who could be strong. I think the real question is whether the questioners will let them be. I have great faith in Hugh Hewitt making sure that national security stays at the front, at least in his questions. But let's not forget, going back to the 2012 debates, where CNN, not to pick on them particularly, but they were, I think, 90 minutes into a 2-hour debate before they asked the first foreign policy question. You just had Herman Cain on. I remember they asked Herman Cain what his favorite kind of pizza was before they got to the first foreign policy question. And to me, that is going to be a test of the debate tonight. The first job of the president, the first job, is protecting the country. And to me, everything else is secondary.
Well, we'll certainly be watching what's going on. What do you think? Should a fair question on what's going on in Hungary and how to resolve that problem?
Well, I think that would be a fair question. I think that tests the candidates' understanding not just of the refugee problem in Europe, but the failure of Obama's policy in the Middle East. There are a huge range of questions to be asked out there.
You know what I would ask is what's the difference between a migrant and a refugee? Because even you helped me with that one the other night. I don't know if you know that, but that there's a difference.
Well, look, this is a problem that's not just Europe's problem. If, in fact, among the legitimate refugees there are terrorists that are infiltrating in Europe, that's a problem we're going to see in this country, too. So I think people need to face up to it. You can't say it's far away and doesn't affect us. It does affect us.
Well, you can't say, too, that only look for terrorists in these refugees. You know, they're coming over, you know, they've come over our border before, even through, you know, airports in, I think, in Maine. So we've had them other places, other ways coming in. But anyway, I'm taking the last word on that one. Ambassador, nice to see you, sir.